Fine, fine. So this silica sand is used into making of the panels, and this is a key raw material for making these solar panels. Now there is a purification method, and the problem now is that this silica sand is into high short supply. So if the companies in India are making solar panels, what they are doing is they are importing this sand, and because they heat this sand to 2000 degrees centigrades, and the silicon dioxide bonds break during the process and making nearly pure silica and oxygen. So the oxygen then combine with carbon to produce two monoxide molecules, and this is the process which they are using to make this metallurgical grade silicon जिनसे कि इनके ये panels बनते हैं. So now, if Make in India has to do businesses which are producing this raw material, and there are ample of businesses. So, like ramming mass is one. They are taking the silica and making ramming mass for the steel industry. All the businesses don't have access to all this. So even if Vikram or any other business or smaller kind of businesses are making facilities to make modules in India, they would require this sand. And Wari is into a kind of a agreement to get perpetual sourcing of this. So with this, the story even changes. So when they are trying to make their modules and panels and they're expanding capacity, and they will be totally backward integrated, which others probably would not be, will give them more benefit in the margins. Now the promoter says, I will not take these margins. I will rather pass on this cost savings to my consumers. So I could compete with the Chinese counter parties and have a better pricing as per my modules are concerned. So with this happening, there is a much more possibility that the market cap of this company can even go much beyond what we are envisaging or thinking. And secondly, as you got it right, Vikram going down definitely gives market share to Wari, because Wari is the leader. So what information I have, the IPO can be around 1200 to 1500 bucks, but the opening of this IPO is definitely above 2000, and उसके बाद तो फिर market driven है. So this is the information I have for Wari.
Sir, but this sand thing will impact even the import now, because it'll impact, if it's a global shortage, then it'll impact Chinese.
It is not a global shortage, Indian shortage, because NGT and permissions and all these kind of things, it is an Indian shortage. And they are taking contracts to get this sand.
Got it. Okay.
So this will benefit the business even more versus the other counterparties. Now, till the time Adani and Ambani don't come into the game, this business has a good headroom to grow maybe beyond 1 lakh crores market cap. So if I see at a 2200 crore market cap, 2200 rupees price, their market cap is somewhere around 53,000 crores. But if you take a 1 lakh crore market cap, plus what is next is happening, that Wari Renewable Technology, every day the company is going into upper circuit, and they are getting good orders. So this Wari Renewable Technologies is also a company which is adding to the market cap. Just 1 second. Yeah. Honey. So if I take a holding company and Wari का आज की तारीख में market cap क्या हो गया, Wari Renewable Technologies and Wari Technology, so somewhere around 10,000 12,000 crore market cap तो इन दोनों से ही बन जाता है. 10,000 भी अगर आप पकड़ो, so it's a 43,000 crore market cap with a 800 crore PAT and 14,000 revenue is not that expensive, and the rate which it is planning to grow and the rate which is the things which are panning out, definitely the price can be 4,000. Can be 4,000. I can be biased also because I am also invested, but सिनेरियोज ऐसे बन रहे हैं.
पर अगर ये, let's say right now in the market, Bari Energies is going for what, 22, 2300,
Yes.
or say 21 to 23, जो भी है, and give with Bari Renewable going up every day, 5%, 5% upper circuit. Now this company owns 75%, I think, of that. So
So what you have to do is you have to see the Vari renewable market cap. Check the Vari renewable market cap,
market cap. Okay, okay,
which is I think 15,400 crores today,
okay.
and 75% of 15,400 is what?
11,000-ish on average.
11,500. So
Yeah.
what you do is you give it a discount of 20-30%. You make it again 70% of this because holding companies are at a discount. So somewhere around 7-8,000 crores.
Right.
And Vari Technologies is also a listed company which is not going up. So it's around 1,400 crores. So cumulatively, Vari Technologies and Vari Renewable Technologies, I'm assessing a value of anywhere between 8,000 to 10,000 crores, which Vari Energies, the unlisted parent, would be getting out of these two businesses. So if I take a 2,200 stock price, which is 53,500 crore market cap, depending on the number of shares, we can subtract this holding company valuation from these two, which is 8 to 10. So tentatively it should be around 43-44,000 crores market cap. And the revenues which they will be doing this year, since hardly 13-14 days or maybe 15 days left for your quarter four to end, the revenues would be anywhere between 13,500, 14,000 crores, which is a $2 billion revenue, and the PAT would be around 800 crores plus. So if I take this 43 or take it 45 for the sake of calculation, 45,000 crores, subtracting the value of these two businesses which are already listed, we are getting a price multiple of 55, 50, 56, 56 or something of that sort, which is not cheap by any metric, but which is not very expensive also, depending upon the growth which they are having. Now, if they are able to grow more than 40-50%, so PE of this can be justified for say 1 year or 2 year going forward, until and unless the lock-in does not open. So that is why I'm saying this company has the potential to go beyond 1 lakh crore market, because what we discussed about the sand also,
And also,
and synergies are being made and they're expanding. And the good part about Vari is that they have cash flows which Vikram does not have. And Vikram is piling onto the more and more of debt to expand. So ये बात है.
this game could go on till basically, I mean, obviously, they, if they have good numbers and that continues, but till Adani or Reliance actually start, their manufacturing starts being supplied.
Yeah, because Adani and Reliance, what they will come into a price war, because Jio was also a price war. So what they'll do is they'll reduce prices, and after they reduce prices, so margins are going to have a hit, because they work on high scale. They work on volumes. So even a
So,
thin
think
margin on a very high volume is going to give them good money. And that is how Jio captured the market share when it got launched. And Adani
Adani
also is going to
is going
spend around 8 lakh crores on his portfolio companies in the next 1 or 2 years. So companies which are funding to, and which definitely has a solar boom in a solar segment. So companies funding to the solar industries are also going to have a good time, like Irida or like PFC, REC, whatever the companies are. So this is how this is kind of working.
working. So, but the companies that are providing cash flow and funds to solar, then we
Yes.
discussed in another call na कि वो 5% उनका अभी, unless they raise money from international sources, they have like a 5%. Sorry, not 5%. 0.5% is their is the limit that's specified, right?
वो 0.5% का वो एक क्लॉज आ गया था, बट दैट विल चेंज, दैट विल चेंज, बिकॉज अगर ऐसा रहेगा तो फिर कोई भी बिजनेस नहीं कर सकता ना, कोई भी जिंदा नहीं रह सकता. बिकॉज अगर 0.5% ही आपका मार्केट उतने में तो आपके खर्चे ही नहीं पूरे होंगे. So how the hell you going to make profits? And that is the reason why you see markets when they corrected, the IRIDA and REC and PEC, they all came down by like a pack of cards.
Yeah, so hopefully there will be some kind of an like clarity on that or something like that, which will then
See,
not
see why
punish.
see, see why this has gone up. I'll tell you again. See, I've been emphasizing on one line, if you can recall, that a business which can deploy incremental amounts of capital at incremental amounts of rate is supposed to be a good business. Now look at Vari. They have having a capacity utilization of 50 to 60%. So that means they have got 20-30% more capacity which they can utilize and make up more of their products. They are venturing out into new products. They have got a green hydrogen 1 megawatt order. They are venturing out into electrolyzers, which will be the key material to make the green hydrogen. Then they are into battery storage systems, because you can produce electricity by sunlight, by solar, but if till the time you cannot store that energy, then how the hell it is going to help you? Then they are backward going in, backward integrating in the sand thing. So these are so few things, and then they are expanding also. So अभी मेजरली ये क्या रीजन हुआ कि सडनली द स्टॉक प्राइस फ्रॉम 1800 फ्लॉक टू 2200 2300. मेजरली ये रीजन हुआ कि वी द इन्वेस्टर्स हु गॉट डायरेक्ट अलॉटमेंट फ्रॉम द कंपनी, so we got a mail that the IPO was planned for 3000 crores. But now they have passed a resolution, so they want to pick up 3600 crores. And if you see the return metrics, the ROEs and ROCs are way beyond 15, 17, 18%. A business which can deploy incremental amounts of capital and incremental amounts of rate. That is why you see a 20% stock price jump in no time. So 600 crores is 20% of 3000 crores, which the initial IPO was. So a business which has a scope to deploy 3000 crores at maybe a 25% return on equity. So this is their equity which they are planning to raise. So now they'll be deploying 3600 crores, which is 20% more. So again, this thing come, a business which can deploy incremental amounts of capital and incremental amounts of rate is supposed to be a good business. So this is how it is working. That is why you see sudden jump in shares of Vari. And
Sir,
Vikram going under is going to give them market share. That is for sure.
and so with the sand component, who are they backward integrated with for the sand thing?
See, sand is locally they have to procure from the mines. Now, earlier on, what was happening is, see, I still don't have that information in my hand, which I'll try and get it. They were importing this sand is which is of high silica content. Now, since I am staying in Rajasthan and Rajasthan has got a lot of mining work, we have got mines over here for sand, which is less in silica content and high in silica content. Now, since you are not an old member of Batch 4, so I don't think so. You might be knowing about Raghav Ramming Mass. Raghav Ramming Mass is buying pores. You know what are small stones which you call pores and uneven surfaces from unorganized small mines, and they're crushing it and extracting the silica from it. The silica in India is abundant, but there is nobody who will extract the silica and purify it, wash it, and give it to the plant. So that is why these guys were importing it. Now plants are being set up, which are definitely emphasizing on the steel industry, because they are making the ramming mass where your refractories are used in. Ramming mass is also kind of a refractory. No, let me try and get this information, because they are into backward integration with these small mines. So that will not be coming in reports or annual report. That would be in public domain, which we need to find. So if Make in India is the theme and Modi government is emphasizing on Make in India, and definitely everybody knows that Modi government is going to come back again in the third session also. And they are starting their wafers and ingots and full backward integration. Definitely they have to have a backward integration with the sand also. And there is a shortage of sand. And these guys, being the leaders, have definitely have agreements to procure this sand locally. So the import cost would be saved. and this margins would be passed on to the customers to compete with the Chinese modules. This is what the promoter has been articulating in several of his public appearances. So ये चीज है. अभी इसका written proof, documentary proof, give me some time. I will try and get it and post it into the group so all can read that.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you for sharing.
ठीक है विजय सर.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So अगर आप allocated हो तो ठीक है, but if you plan to allocate more, try getting it into the IPO or after the listing, because IPO would be somewhere around 1200 $1,500, and the opening of this IPO would be around, the gray market premium would be high because unlisted market में अभी बस तो चल ही रहा है.
You
Sir,
don't think
IPO ठीक है, but after IPO we can try, no?
Yes, you can try. मिलेगा आपको यही प्राइस में 2200 2300, ये लगभग इसी प्राइस में मिलेगा, because before the IPO अगर आपने थोड़ा सा ले लिया, which is okay, but if you plan to add more, then be sure that you would be in a 6 months lock in and your capital would be stuck up for a 6 months and then you might not be able to sell. But after the IPO there is no lock in. But only make sure कि जोन से अकाउंट में आपने अभी लिया है अनलिस्टेड में, don't buy into the same account after the IPO.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Because it gets mixed when your new shares will also be locked in, which you buy after the IPO, unless your unlisted shares are not free from lock-in. So that is why it is a good suggestion to have multiple accounts at your disposal to structure your portfolio differently. Like what happened with me in BW, Ayush Mittal also invested around 3 crores in BW, and we all were also invested in that. So some problem happened and some game Ashish Kocholia paid or what, पता नहीं क्या हुआ कि after 6 months also they were not ready to even open up the lock-in. Why? Because Ayush Mittal shares were not allotted to him. And again the company did a preferential allotment at double the price. So if you see BW today it is 1800, and me and one or two more older batch 4 guys are invested at 800. पर हमारा अभी लॉक इन खुला ही नहीं. It's more than 8 months. So does not pinch me because trading करने का मेरा कोई aspect है ही नहीं. But a person who is envisaging कि if I have invested $1 and I'll be getting $2 in 6 months time, so I can make use of that money, especially in March month where people are always very panicky about paying taxes and advance taxes. तो वो लोग थोड़े से प्रॉब्लम में. In stock market you need to have lots and lots of patience. So this is BW. So now the thing is our lock-in is supposed to open up on anywhere between 24th to 25th of May. Another thing which I got information is that WTI, जिसका अभी बहुत hype चल रहा था, WTI का anchor lock-in is going to open on 21st of March. Today it is the 18th of March, and we would or we should see some kind of bulk block deals happening in 21st of March or maybe in this coming week. और आप लोग शायद वहाँ गए थे भारत टेक्स में, which I could not attend due to my eye problem, and you guys had met some investors over there, right? निधि मैम, दीक्षा मैम, आप दोनों गए थे.
हाँ सर, मैं तो मिली नहीं उनसे, बट साकेत अग्रवाल का नाम आ रहा है WTI में.
वही नाम आएगा आपको इस वीक के अंदर, ब्लॉक डील आएगी. नो आई शुड
तो
नॉट बी
ऑलरेडी
टेलिंग यू.
इन है.
नहीं वो तो है, वो तो क्या है, बट आई शुड नॉट बी टेलिंग यू ऑल दिस बिकॉज इट्स ऑन अ रिकॉर्डिंग लाइन. सो
सॉरी.
वो ब्लॉक डील हो सकता है वो करें. आई डोंट नो, मेरे को, मैं गेस कर रहा हूँ एक.
मतलब वी आर एज्यूमिंग, मतलब अजम्पशन ही है, मतलब उन्हीं, मतलब पब्लिक डोमेन में उन्हीं का नाम आ रहा है.
इस वीक में 21st को वो लॉक इन खुलेगा एंड वो एक फ्लोट वाला जो खेल होता है वो फ्लोट अटका के रखें. So this is what I am assuming. The stock market is a very lonely and a very aloof game. Your thought process is not right or wrong because anybody other person agrees to it or does not agree to it. So this is my thought process. I can be 100% wrong also. So when this anchors will open up, because 147 is their price of the allotment to the anchors, 50% they will going to be allowed to sell on 21st of March, which is I think Wednesday or Thursday something. So in this week or probably in the next week, we should have a bulk block deal where this 2-3 big names which resemble with us should be there, and it is just a overhang now because एंकर बेचेगा तो स्टॉक प्राइस गिर जाएगा एंड सीधी सी बात है अगर वो फ्लोट कॉर्नर करके रखते हैं because one thing you guys have already understood by now that the float is the only mode, and if I get a float which I understand the float and I get a good business, then I have got a good combination. So this is how it should work, right? So this is how it should work. So मेरे पास ये information थी, that is why I am sharing this information.
Okay, sir. Thank you for sharing.
चलो, okay, bye bye.
Thank you.